So, Jim, this is Saul Albom, Market News First. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Saul?
Great. We got it all working here. Glad you can join us. Now, Jim, I have just tasted a little bit each of your teas on the air, and I'm going to be honest, I like them all. They're very, very good. Now, we thought here at MN1 that somehow some of our sales guys got into the fridge and they looked so tasty that they were all drank, but apparently they were so well hidden because we were afraid of that, so they were still there, thank goodness. Because you know how you have all the guys running around and you don't know, it's like a fraternity back there, you don't know what's going to happen with your food. You always got to label it right. Well, we got it right. We still have the teas here, and they're all really good. Now, Jim, tell me the story of Cha Dao Tea. Why, and what is this for the viewers out there? And tell me the story of the company.
Yeah, thank you, Saul. Well, I started Cha Dao after I just couldn't find a bottled tea that I like. I am sort of tea. I'm really passionate about tea. So I just couldn't find a bottled tea that I like. So I figured I could come up with a better bottled tea. So I came up with a line of fresh bottled tea. So what we mean by fresh is that we don't use concentrates. We chill it from when we brew it to when you get it at the store. And most importantly, we date it for a short shelf life. I was very disappointed when I found out that all the bottled teas that were on the market had a shelf life of about a year, 2 years. So that meant that the bottled tea could have been produced over a year ago. So that's why I came up with this idea of a fresh bottled tea. So fresh is better because, first of all, it tastes a lot better. It just tastes like you just brewed the tea yourself. And also, it actually provides more health benefits. In fact, we retain the highest amount of antioxidants. When we sent our teas to the lab for analysis, we came up with the highest amount of antioxidants, about 5 times to 6 times more than Snapple, for instance. So
now, what I want to address here, and you said something that I found fascinating here, said that you had a passion for good-tasting tea, and now I want to ask you about this. Now, you've come across other entrepreneurs. Can you address this passion that they have for each of their subjects? Can you tell me about that? Do they all have passion? Is some of that, is this something that I've reflected upon, or something that you've noticed also, that successful entrepreneurs have a passion for their subject?
Oh, yeah. Pretty much you have to have a passion for whatever you do because you live, breathe, and eat what you're doing. I wake up every day thinking about Cha Dao. I go to bed each day thinking about Cha Dao. It's on your mind all the time. So you pretty much have to be sure you love what you do to be in whatever you do.
Now, tell me, Jim, tell me about the struggle that you faced getting this tea off the ground and the sacrifices that you've had to make.
Wow, where do I begin? Struggles. From people not believing in you from the very beginning. You have to convince a lot of people. Whenever, like for instance, when I had to buy bottles for my tea, nobody would sell me just one pallet full of teas. Everybody wanted to sell me bottles, but they wanted to sell me a truckload of bottles. And I was starting this out at home, and I couldn't store a truckload of bottles in my garage. So I finally convinced somebody to just sell me one pallet, which barely made it into my garage. I had to take the top 3 layers of bottles away from the pallet before it could fit in my garage. So things like that, and the same for caps, the same for labels, the same for finding a place to manufacture my bottled teas was a real big challenge. And getting the first accounts, people here in Seattle were very, very supportive when I approached them. But then I had to set up my distribution network, and that was a challenge. Getting brokers to represent my product was a challenge, but we managed to get it done. So it was a wild ride.
Now, how long have you guys been in business now?
We sold our first bottle of tea in February of last year.
Okay, and then tell me about your distribution now and where can people get your tea? Where is it available?
Is available right now up and down the West Coast in about 200 natural food stores like Whole Foods, Wild Oats, a local store here called QFC, Metropolitan Markets, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. So in the space of a year and a half, or 2 years, you got into 200 stores?
Yes. We're now in over 200 stores. We just got into 6 distributors, and we have a distribution reach of 19 states.
That is I'm dumbfounded. I think it's great.
Thank you.
You know, I've had many beverage companies on here, and they've not seen that type of explosive growth. Now,